All right, get ready to get spooked because tonight we're taking a deep dive into Silent Hill. Specifically, the Silent Hill 2 remake. Everyone wants to know if it lives up to the hype, right? So, is it a faithful revival or are we walking into a disaster?
Well, I think what's got everyone talking is this. How do you honor the original and still bring something new? It's a tough balance.
So, they did more than just update the graphics. This isn't just a fresh coat of paint, is it?
Oh, no, not even close. Think expanded levels, new areas you've never seen before, even some extra cutscenes to flesh things out. Can you imagine experiencing Silent Hill 2 again for the first time, even if you've played the original? There's something here for everyone.
Okay, now, that's what I call a remake. Sounds like they really went deep to make it even more, well, disturbing. And speaking of disturbing, let's talk about the atmosphere. They're really leaning into that classic Silent Hill uneasiness.
And that's key, because Silent Hill's brand of horror, it's not about jump scares, right? It's the atmosphere, the dread, that feeling that something is just wrong, deeply wrong. It gets under your skin. That's the kind of horror that stays with you long after you've put the controller down.
It's like the environments themselves are characters, changing to reflect what James is going through.
Yeah, exactly. The world reacts to him. It blurs that line between what's real, what's a nightmare, that psychological depth. That's what sets Silent Hill apart. But it's not just the atmosphere. Combat got a big overhaul, too.
Oh, really? I remember it being a little clunky in the original.
Well, get ready to think strategically. You can't just run and gun in this one. Ammo, health packs, everything is precious. Every encounter, you have to think it through or you die.
Wow, that definitely ups the stakes. Suddenly, scavenging for supplies takes on a whole new meaning.
Exactly. And don't forget those puzzles. Those mind-bending puzzles Silent Hill is known for. They're back, but with some twists.
Okay, good. Glad to hear they didn't mess with those too much. The puzzles were always so unique. But what about the story? Everyone knows Silent Hill 2 for its narrative. Did they stay true to that?
They did. A lot of familiar details, but they weren't afraid to make changes.
Oh, what kind of changes? Don't tell me they messed up the story.
No, not the core narrative, more like refining. They updated some of the sensitive subplots, made them a little more in line with modern thinking, but without losing what made them powerful.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a tough thing, updating a story for a new audience. Makes you wonder how those changes will go over with the diehards, though.
Right. Only time will tell on that one. Speaking of changes, though, the Mary letter.
You mean that part where James gets the letter from his dead wife, summoning him to Silent Hill? What a way to start a game.
So that's got me wondering, did they stick to the original, or will it be a surprise?
Right. I guess we'll have to play to find out. But while we're on the topic of iconic Silent Hill stuff, what about the music? Did Akira Yamaoka do the music for this one too?
You better believe it. That haunting soundtrack, it's back.
Mm.
It's like the music itself is a character in Silent Hill, you know? Adding to the tension, honestly, those melodies alone are enough to give me nightmares.
Same. But I guess that's what we love about Silent Hill, right?
It really gets under your skin, that music. But it's not just about the sound design. The whole game, it's like this puzzle box
Hmm.
full of symbolism.
Oh, even more for us to unpack. Now that's interesting. It really speaks to how well made the original was, don't you think? That even now people are still debating what it all means.
Absolutely. It's a testament to, well, to the depth of the game, that people are still so passionate about it. And it sounds like this remake, it's going to give them even more to talk about. But it does make you wonder, with all the changes in horror games over the years, can Silent Hill 2 still hold up?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's been over 20 years since the original came out.
Yeah, a lot has changed, but it's not relying on jump scares or anything. It's tapping into something more primal. Those anxieties, those feelings you get, those don't really get old.
That's true. Some things never change. And it's not just about the feeling you get, right? The creatures themselves, they're not just random monsters. They mean something. They're connected to James, to the whole twisted reality of Silent Hill.
Exactly. They're not just there for shock value. It's like physical manifestations of what's going on inside. Makes it so much more disturbing. Like facing your fears, in their most terrifying form.
Okay, now, that's scary. There might be even new enemies in this one. They didn't give any details, but still, that's a chilling thought, isn't it?
It's a smart move, though.
Yeah.
Even if you know the original game inside and out, this will keep you on your toes. Makes you wonder, what new nightmares did they come up with?
Right. What fresh hell awaits? And I'm sure it'll be more than just a scary face. Knowing Silent Hill, there'll be some deeper meaning behind it all.
Exactly. Like, they're inviting us back into this nightmare we thought we knew. But it's even worse than we thought.
And what about the environments themselves? The level design was always a big part of what made Silent Hill 2 so effective.
They said the environments are almost like Characters in the story, they change based on what James is going through.
It's like the town itself is messing with you. One minute, everything seems normal, then suddenly you're in some horrifying place. Makes you question what's real.
That's what makes it so effective. Or maybe it's a descent into madness.
It's like the game world itself is a reflection of that. It's like they took something already terrifying and they turned it up to 11. And considering how messed up the original Silent Hill 2 could get, that's saying something. It's kind of hard to imagine making Silent Hill even more messed up, but it sounds like they found a way. Makes you think, how far is too far? Will all that extra disturbing stuff make it better, or just too much?
It's like personal preference, right?
True, true. One person's nightmare and all that, but from what I'm hearing, it sounds like they knew what they were doing. They really respected the original game.
It definitely comes across that they get what made Silent Hill 2 so special. They weren't just trying to make a quick buck off nostalgia. This feels like they wanted to create the ultimate version of this game,
Yeah.
for a new audience.
Does Silent Hill 2 Remake live up to the hype?
In a word, yes.
Hmm.
As close to perfect as they could have ever hoped. And that's saying something, because these guys, they loved the original, they were impressed, said the developers captured what made the game great while still, modernizing it, expanding on it.
That's awesome to hear. Sounds like they really nailed it. Didn't just remake it, they reinvented it. Which makes me even more curious about that final thought you like to leave us with. What's the question we should be asking as we get ready to go back to Silent Hill?
I think the question is, does Silent Hill 2 stand the test of time? Can it still get to us, even after all these years? Or have things moved on? Have we seen too much to be scared of what it's offering?
Now that's a question I can get behind. Something tells me Silent Hill 2 still has what it takes to get under our skin. But I guess we'll find out when we're lost in that fog, right? Until then, keep those flashlights handy, and remember, in Silent Hill, the scariest monsters are the ones we bring with us. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.